In the vast emptiness of space, within the cold confines of the sanctuary, Loki stands before Ebony Maw, a creature whose mere presence seems to drain warmth from the surrounding void. The fallen Asgardian prince, stripped of his former glory and consumed by resentment, listens intently as the servant of a mysterious warlord presents a proposition that could change the fate of worlds. The bargain is deceptively simple. Retrieve the Tesseract from its guardians on Earth, and command the fearsome Chitauri forces will be his. For Loki, whose exile from Asgard remains a fresh and festering wound to his pride, this opportunity represents far more than mere conquest. It is vindication incarnate, a chance to prove his worth not to the father who cast him out, not to the brother who overshadowed him, but to himself and to the cosmos that has rejected him. The weight of his humiliation drives him forward, transforming desperation into deadly purpose. Without hesitation, his eyes reflecting both burning ambition and the hollow ache of exile, he accepts the bargain, sealing his fate and Earth's doom in a single moment of agreement. The desert night air cuts sharp and cold as a S.H.I.E.L.D. convoy makes its way through the darkness toward Project Pegasus. Nick Fury, his characteristic determination radiating from every movement, leads his team through the high-security facility. Accompanying him are Maria Hill, Clay Quartermain, and Kate Waynesboro, each aware they stand on the precipice of something momentous. Tony Stark's Iron Man armor gleams under the harsh artificial lights as the convoy comes to a halt, revealing their twin discoveries that will reshape the world's understanding of power and possibility. Within the facility's sterile corridors, Dr. Vernon Van Dyne takes the lead, introducing Tony Stark to his colleagues Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. They all gather around the capsule containing Captain America, their attention focused with the precision of surgeons performing the most delicate of operations. They monitor every fluctuation in temperature, every minute change in Steve's vital signs, knowing that one mistake could destroy what ice and serum have preserved for 7 decades. The defrosting process proceeds with painstaking care, each moment bringing them closer to awakening a legend. Elsewhere in the sprawling compound, Donald Blake leads his own team of researchers in studying the Tesseract, attempting to unlock its secrets through his experimental Tesseract accelerator. The device hums with increasing power as they work, energy readings climbing steadily higher with each passing moment. The scientists remain oblivious to the danger they court, focused entirely on the promise of unlimited clean energy and the scientific glory that beckons. None of them realize they are about to open a door that should have remained forever closed. Without warning, the Tesseract accelerator surges to full power, its systems overloading as energy cascades through circuits never designed to handle such forces. The air itself seems to tear open, reality splitting like fabric as a portal manifests in the heart of the facility, crackling with otherworldly energy that makes the hair stand on end and sets teeth on edge. From this rift between worlds steps Loki. His presence fills the space with palpable menace. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents respond with the instant precision of their training, weapons rising and trained on the intruder as orders echo across the facility floor. They command the armored figure to surrender, to stand down. Loki's response comes not in words, but in devastating action. Energy blasts erupt from his scepter, cutting through the assembled agents with terrifying efficiency. Their bullets bounce harmlessly off his Asgardian armor as he methodically eliminates resistance, moving with the grace of a predator and the cold calculation of a god among mortals. Within seconds, those agents not lying dead on the cold floor lie subdued and helpless. Then the true horror begins, surpassing the violence of battle. Loki approaches the fallen Quartermain and the stunned Donald Blake with deliberate steps, placing the scepter's tip against their chests, directly over their hearts where life pulses strongest. The gem embedded in the weapon glows with malevolent blue light, its power flowing into them like poison through veins. Nick Fury attempts to spirit the Tesseract away, moving through shadows with all the skill learned in decades of espionage and covert operations. He employs every trick, every deception honed through countless missions, believing that if he can just reach the extraction point, he can deny Loki his prize. But the Asgardian, with senses far beyond mortal limitation, detects him instantly. Loki turns, his smile cruel and knowing, and begins to explain his glorious purpose with the fervor of a true believer who has convinced himself his tyranny is salvation. Humanity must be freed from freedom itself, Loki proclaims, which he identifies as life's greatest lie and heaviest burden. He will become their supreme king, their benevolent dictator, saving them from the crushing weight of choice and the chaos of self-determination. His vision of order requires subjugation, but he frames it as mercy. Fury argues back. He calls out Loki's desire for war masked as peace, his need for dominion disguised as guidance. Fury makes his decision in that moment, a calculation born of desperation. If he cannot escape with the Tesseract, he will die protecting it, taking Loki down with him in a final act of defiance. His hand moves toward the weapon concealed at his side, muscles tensing for action. Loki, amused by the futile resistance, orders Quartermain to eliminate Fury, then leads his newly acquired servants toward the waiting vehicles, claiming the Tesseract as his prize. Maria Hill and Kate Waynesboro mount a desperate pursuit, weapons firing as they race after the fleeing convoy. The corrupted agents, however, have numbers and surprise on their side, their coordination perfect under Loki's control. As the Asgardian's convoy speeds away into the desert darkness, the Tesseract's stolen energy triggers a catastrophic chain reaction within the facility. Maria Hill barely escapes as the structure comes down around her, diving through collapsing doorways and dodging falling debris with seconds to spare. Nick Fury, saved from Quartermain's bullet by his bulletproof vest, fights through the pain of broken ribs and pursues in a helicopter. He fires at the fleeing vehicles from above, driven by rage and desperation, each shot a denial of defeat. Loki, relaxed in the passenger seat and pleased with his successful raid, casually returns fire with his scepter. Energy blasts strike the helicopter's tail rotor, sending the aircraft into a violent spin. Fury crashes hard into the desert floor, but survives through sheer force of will, continuing to fire at the distant Jeep until it disappears beyond range into the darkness. The explosion's tremors reach deep into the facility's lower levels, shaking the foundations and rattling the defrosting chamber where Captain America lies suspended. Tony Stark rushes to investigate the source of the catastrophic detonation alongside Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Vernon. Before they can reach the exit, before they can begin to process the disaster unfolding above, Steve Rogers awakens with a gasp that speaks of drowning and desperation. The confusion and terror in his eyes tells the story of a man ripped violently from one world and thrust into another without preparation, without explanation, without mercy. He thrashes against the restraints, panic overtaking rational thought as he relives his final moments from 1945. His super soldier reflexes, honed through countless battles, drive him to fight even when fighting makes no sense. Tony Stark and the assembled scientists work desperately to calm him, to anchor him in this bewildering new reality. Their voices cut through his panic gradually, offering reassurance and truth in equal measure. The full weight of what has happened comes slowly, carefully delivered to prevent complete psychological collapse. He has been unconscious, frozen in perfect stasis for almost 70 years. The super soldier serum in his blood, that gift and curse from Dr. Erskine, kept him alive when death should have claimed him, preserving him in a state beyond life or death. Hank Pym confirms what Steve needs desperately to hear. His sacrifice was not in vain. He succeeded in his mission. The missile never reached its target, never detonated over populated cities, never delivered its payload of destruction. The world was saved by his choice, by his willingness to die so others might live. But salvation, Steve realizes with growing horror, carries a cost beyond reckoning. Everyone he knew, every friend from the Howling Commandos, Every ally from the invaders is likely gone, claimed by the decades he spent frozen. The world he fought to protect no longer exists, replaced by something he cannot yet comprehend. Most painful among the losses is the memory of Bucky Barnes, his best friend since childhood, who died in that same mission. The grief hits him like a physical blow, fresh despite 70 years of frozen slumber. Janet Van Dyne offers what comfort she can, recognizing the profound displacement he experiences, understanding that he stands as a man without a time, belonging neither to the past he remembers nor the present that surrounds him. Her empathy provides a fragile anchor in the storm of his realization. His grief finds interruption in Nick Fury's arrival. The S.H.I.E.L.D. director, bloodied but unbowed from his helicopter crash, his vest torn where Quartermain's bullet struck, bursts into the chamber with urgent purpose. He explains Loki's theft of the Tesseract and the catastrophic danger that object represents in hostile hands. Fury requests Steve's help, his voice carrying the weight of desperate necessity. Tony Stark accepts immediately, his characteristic enthusiasm for action overriding any consideration of risk. Steve hesitates, traumatized by his previous experience with the Tesseract, knowing firsthand the apocalyptic destruction such cosmic power can unleash when mishandled. Yet even through his trauma and displacement, he understands the necessity. Reluctance gives way to duty, as it always has, as perhaps it always will. Captain America agrees to serve once more. Director Fury contacts the World Security Council, receiving orders that make his jaw clench and his hands tighten into fists. They command him to proceed with Phase 2 despite Loki's attack, or perhaps because of it, viewing the crisis as justification rather than warning. He ignores these orders for the moment, focusing instead on the more immediate necessity of assembling a team capable of recovering the Tesseract. His next target for recruitment presents unique challenges. Bruce Banner, the man who carries a monster within his skin. Kate Waynesboro travels north to S.H.I.E.L.D's facility hidden deep in the forests of British Columbia, where Banner has been receiving treatment from Doc Samson in an ongoing attempt to maintain control over the gamma-powered rage living beneath his skin. The facility serves as both sanctuary and prison, a place where Banner can work toward mastery of the Hulk without endangering innocent lives. Samson administers a specialized serum of his own design, bringing temporary calm and stabilizing Bruce's volatile condition enough for coherent conversation. Kate greets both men warmly when she arrives. S.H.I.E.L.D. faces a potential global catastrophe. She explains with careful precision events of a magnitude that Bruce claims to actively avoid through his self-imposed isolation. She shows him an image of the Tesseract on her tablet, the blue glow of the artifact reflecting in his eyes. Bruce's response drips with sardonic humor. Does Director Fury want him to swallow it? Kate cuts through his deflection with practiced ease, explaining the real purpose of the request. Fury needs Banner's help in finding the stolen Tesseract, and the reason is simple. The object emits gamma radiation, which happens to be Bruce's specialty, his life's work and his curse made manifest. Understanding dawns in Bruce's eyes, along with the bitter suspicion that comes from being hunted and feared. He suggests that S.H.I.E.L.D. really needs him in a cage, seeing him as a weapon to be contained and deployed rather than a man to be respected and consulted. Suddenly, without warning, Bruce begins to shout, his voice rising in manufactured rage, his body language shifting from calm to threatening in heartbeats. Kate's hand moves instinctively to her weapon. Doc Samson intervenes immediately, his voice sharp with warning as he reminds Bruce to control his anger, to step back from the edge of transformation. Bruce complies, his rage evaporating as quickly as it appeared, and then he reveals his intent with a slight smile. He wanted to observe how Kate would react to a potential Hulk incident, testing whether fear or training would dominate her response when faced with the monster's emergence. Her controlled reaction, the way she reached for her weapon without drawing it, without firing, without fleeing, satisfies something in him. She treated the threat professionally rather than with the panic or hatred he has come to expect. Satisfied with her measured response and recognizing the genuine nature of the crisis, Bruce agrees to assist S.H.I.E.L.D. in locating the Tesseract. Loki secures a hideout for his growing army in an abandoned industrial complex, a place of shadows and rust where his preparations can proceed without interference. Donald Blake, still enslaved and stripped of his will, works with mechanical precision on constructing a new Tesseract accelerator, attempting to harness and control the artifact's reality-warping power. Loki watches the construction with satisfaction, already envisioning the portal that will bring his Chitauri legions to Earth. As he observes Blake's work, the scepter's gem begins to glow with increasing intensity. His consciousness manifests before Ebony Maw and the assembled Chitauri army in the cold depths of the sanctuary. Emboldened by his successful theft of the Tesseract and drunk on the promise of imminent conquest, Loki mocks the Chitauri warriors assembled before him. He questions whether they are truly as formidable as Maw promised, whether they can live up to their fearsome reputation, his arrogance on full display. The response comes immediately and with devastating fury. Ebony Maw reminds Loki of his failure, his defeat at the hands of Thor, and his subsequent exile from Asgard, framing this mission to Earth as a second chance that few beings ever receive, a gift rather than a right. The warning that follows chills even Loki's arrogant heart, cutting through his bravado like a knife through silk. Should he fail to secure Earth and deliver the Tesseract, Maw explains with cold precision, there will be no place in the universe remote enough to hide from the Mad Titan's wrath. When the warlord finds him, and he will inevitably be found, Loki will beg for something as sweet and merciful as mere pain. The threat carries absolute certainty, no bluster or exaggeration, just the promise of suffering beyond imagination. Loki recognizes genuine menace in Maw's words, understanding for perhaps the first time the true stakes of the bargain he struck. Failure means a fate worse than death, worse than exile, worse than anything his imagination can conjure. The realization strips away some of his confidence, replacing it with cold fear that sits heavy in his stomach, more determined than ever, but now driven by terror as much as ambition. He allows his consciousness to return to his physical form on Earth. Meeting with Donald Blake and Clay Quartermain, he discusses their next steps with renewed urgency. Donald, speaking with the flat effect of the mind-controlled, explains his progress on the Tesseract accelerator and outlines the remaining requirements. The device can harness the artifact's incredible power and access its vast knowledge, but to stabilize the portal he plans to open, to create a gateway that will remain intact long enough for an army to pour through, he needs iridium. This rare element becomes their next target, the key component that will allow Loki to bring the Chitauri to Earth and begin his conquest in earnest. Bruce Banner arrives aboard S.H.I.E.L.D's flying fortress, the helicarrier. Steve Rogers extends his hand in greeting. The gesture simple and sincere, as Bruce explains the tragic irony of his own transformation. His attempt to recreate the super soldier serum that made Captain America a legend instead created something far more dangerous and uncontrollable. The gamma radiation exposure that should have killed him instead birthed the Hulk, a monster of pure rage that shares his body and threatens everything he holds dear. Tony Stark proves himself an immediate fan of Bruce's work, praising his survival of radiation levels that should have been instantly fatal, seeing the scientific achievement rather than the curse. Bruce questions how long S.H.I.E.L.D. requires his services, already calculating his exit strategy and thinking about the remote locations he might flee to once this crisis passes. Fury assures him the commitment extends only until they locate and secure the Tesseract, nothing more. More confident now that his involvement has defined limits, Bruce asks about their current status and search progress. Maria Hill explains they are scanning the entire planet for the artifact's unique energy signature, a massive undertaking requiring enormous computational resources. Bruce suggests a more efficient approach with the casual brilliance of genius. Scan specifically for gamma radiation signatures rather than attempting to find the Tesseract directly. Fury, recognizing the elegance of the solution immediately, orders Maria to show Bruce to his laboratory without delay. Janet Van Dyne approaches Steve Rogers, her enthusiasm palpable and slightly overwhelming as she creates an awkward moment by mentioning that she watched his defrosting process. Her excitement is genuine and unfiltered, the reaction of someone meeting a childhood hero made flesh. She expresses what an honor it represents to have him leading this team, to work alongside Captain America himself. Steve remains deeply skeptical of his qualifications for leadership in this strange new world, uncertain whether a man from the 1940s can guide heroes with powers and technology he barely understands. Tony Stark steps in to reassure him, explaining with characteristic pride that he personally oversaw the development of Steve's new uniform, ensuring it meets modern standards while honoring the classic design. Steve expresses surprise and some embarrassment at the thought of wearing his trademark stars and stripes in this modern era, worried the symbol will seem outdated, a relic from a simpler time that no longer resonates. Hank Pym offers wisdom born of scientific understanding and human insight. With the enormous threat they face, people will need that old-fashioned symbol to inspire hope and courage. The familiar can provide comfort and strength in uncertain times, a reminder of values that transcend eras. Loki surfaces in Symkaria, making his presence known with characteristic dramatic flair. He attacks a man on the street without provocation, the assault serving dual purposes, terrorizing the population and creating the chaos necessary for his true objective. As crowds flee in panic and security forces scramble to respond, the confusion provides perfect cover for Quartermain and the other brainwashed S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to infiltrate a research facility and retrieve the iridium needed to stabilize their portal. The operation proceeds with military precision, Loki's mind-controlled servants moving with coordinated efficiency. Iron Man and Captain America arrive to apprehend Loki, their Quinjet landing in the city square with a roar of repulsors and the hiss of hydraulics. Steve Rogers and Loki engage in direct combat, the super soldier's enhanced abilities proving evenly matched against the Asgardian's strength and centuries of combat experience. Their skills balance perfectly Steve's tactical brilliance and modern hand-to-hand training against Loki's raw power and ancient warrior knowledge. The stalemate holds for long moments, neither able to gain decisive advantage. The balance breaks when Tony Stark intervenes from above, overwhelming Loki with superior firepower from his armor's weapon systems. Repulsor blasts and micromissiles force the god of mischief to his knees, compelling his surrender. They secure their prisoner with restraints designed to hold enhanced individuals and board the waiting Quinjet, beginning the return trip to the helicarrier with their captive. Victory seems assured, the mission accomplished with surprising ease. None of them question why Loki surrendered so readily, why he made no real attempt to escape once subdued. Then the storm arrives, appearing with unnatural fury that speaks of power beyond meteorology. Lightning splits the sky in patterns too geometric to be natural as Thor, god of thunder, descends from roiling clouds. He tears open the Quinjet's rear hatch with his bare hands, metal shrieking in protest, and seizes his brother with a mixture of determination and desperate hope. Before anyone can react, before Steve or Tony can mount a defense, Thor carries Loki away through the storm-torn sky to a nearby forest clearing. Thor confronts his brother among the ancient trees, his voice heavy with anger and the remnants of fraternal love. He demands Loki return home to Asgard and surrender the Tesseract, attempting to appeal to whatever familial bond might still exist between them. Loki's resentment, however, has festered too long and cut too deep. He refuses cooperation with venomous finality, declaring that Odin is not his real father, throwing his adoption in Thor's face like a weapon designed to wound. The revelation of the Tesseract's involvement draws Thor's attention, and he demands to know Loki's source for that information. Loki refuses to reveal his bargain with the Mad Titan and Ebony Maw, protecting his alliance even as he rejects his family. Tony Stark's arrival interrupts their confrontation, his armor descending from the clouds with targeting systems locked. He attacks Thor immediately, seeing only a threat to their mission and a potential accomplice to Loki's schemes. The battle that follows levels part of the forest, God and armored man, trading blows that shake the earth and split ancient trees. Repulsor blasts meet hammer strikes and explosions of force, neither combatant willing to yield. Steve Rogers intervenes before the collateral damage spreads further, attempting to get Thor to stand down and understand they share a common purpose. Thor responds to the interference by lunging at Captain America with Mjolnir raised, divine fury overriding tactical thought. The enchanted hammer strikes Steve's vibranium shield, and the resulting energy release from the collision of two legendary weapons stops everyone in their tracks. In the ringing silence that follows, Thor finally recognizes that their goals align despite their dramatically different methods. Together, understanding reached through violence rather than words, they return Loki to the helicarrier as prisoner rather than trophy. Loki finds himself imprisoned within a transparent cage specifically designed to contain the Hulk, the ultimate failsafe against enhanced threats. Thor joins the assembled team, observing through reinforced glass as Nick Fury begins his interrogation, attempting to extract the Tesseract's location through a combination of pressure and psychology. The Asgardian refuses to reveal anything of value, mocking their efforts with cruel amusement that seems entirely too genuine. He plays with his captors like a cat with trapped mice, enjoying his position despite the apparent captivity. Every word emerges calculated, every gesture designed to unsettle and provoke. Loki treats the interrogation as theater, performing for an audience that doesn't realize they're part of his script. The performance continues even after Fury concludes his questioning and withdraws, frustrated by the complete lack of useful information. Thor reveals crucial intelligence that deepens the threat beyond their worst fears. Loki has gathered an army of Chitauri, beings not from Asgard or any of the 9 realms Thor knows. Their origin remains mysterious, their capabilities unknown, their numbers potentially limitless. The revelation transforms the crisis from the actions of a single rogue Asgardian into a full-scale alien invasion orchestrated by forces beyond their understanding. Thor's shock intensifies when he learns that Loki has enslaved both Clay Quartermain and Donald Blake, corrupting them with the scepter's power. Donald's subjugation hits Thor with particular force, striking him as a personal violation beyond the tactical setback. Donald Blake is his friend, a good man who became a target solely because of their connection. The knowledge that his friendship put Donald in Loki's crosshairs, that his brother corrupted someone Thor cares about simply because he could, cuts deeper than any physical wound. The personal nature of the attack reveals Loki's cruelty extends beyond conquest into petty vengeance against those Thor holds dear. In the helicarrier's laboratory, Tony Stark, Hank Pym, and Bruce Banner work together attempting to locate the Tesseract through gamma radiation tracking. Their equipment hums and displays scroll with data as they refine their search parameters. Hank expresses genuine scientific fascination with Bruce's demonstrated level of control over the Hulk, viewing the transformation as a remarkable achievement in biochemistry rather than merely a curse. The curiosity carries no judgment, only the wonder of one scientist appreciating another's unique circumstance. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the vessel, Steve Rogers grows increasingly frustrated and annoyed by Tony Stark's erratic behavior and his flagrant disrespect for authority and chain of command. Steve attempts to get Stark to follow orders more carefully, to work within the system rather than constantly undermining it. The confrontation ignites a rivalry that has been building since their first meeting, 2 fundamentally different approaches to heroism clashing without hope of easy resolution. Amidst their increasingly heated arguments, both Steve and Tony begin independently questioning S.H.I.E.L.D's true intentions regarding the Tesseract. Something feels wrong beneath Fury's carefully constructed explanations, inconsistencies that nag at their instincts. They deduce that the director must be concealing crucial information about the agency's plans for the artifact. Tony reveals he has already started hacking S.H.I.E.L.D's mainframe, using his technical expertise to unlock their most closely guarded secrets. Steve, preferring more direct investigative approaches, leaves to physically search the helicarrier's restricted areas. Both seek truth through their preferred methods, united in suspicion despite their personal conflict. Thor finds Maria Hill reviewing tactical displays and asks about Jane Foster's safety and current location. Maria explains that Jane was moved to a secure S.H.I.E.L.D. facility when Loki returned to Earth and Donald Blake fell under his control, the precaution taken to prevent her from becoming a target or leverage point. Thor personally thanks Maria for the protection, genuine gratitude evident in his voice, then discusses Donald as fundamentally a good man who became a victim solely due to their friendship. The weight of responsibility for his friend's corruption settles heavily on Thor's shoulders. Director Fury approaches and asks Thor whether he believes he can make Loki confess the Tesseract's location through brotherly connection or Asgardian authority. Thor insists with bitter certainty that his brother desires only revenge against their family for Odin's lies about his true heritage and origins. The adoption revelation has poisoned whatever fraternal bond once existed between them. Fury presses further, asking what Thor is prepared to do to stop Loki's plans if persuasion fails. Thor admits uncertainty, the admission costing him pride. Fury observes with dark insight that Loki appears to be the only person aboard the helicarrier who actually wants to be here, implying the prisoner orchestrated his own capture and has his own agenda proceeding exactly according to plan. Both Tony's digital intrusion and Steve's physical investigation yield the same disturbing discovery. Phase 2, S.H.I.E.L.D's most classified weapons development program. The project's true nature becomes horrifyingly clear as they access restricted files and examine prototype devices. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been systematically using the Tesseract to manufacture weapons of unprecedented destructive capability, preparing for a war they publicly claim to want to prevent. The hypocrisy strikes both men with particular force, the betrayal of trust cutting deep. The heroes confront Director Fury with their discoveries, demanding explanations and accountability. Fury reveals the program's origin without apology or shame. S.H.I.E.L.D. began weaponizing the Tesseract in direct response to the Abomination incident in Las Vegas, when Bruce Banner's alter ego fought a similarly gamma-powered monster through city streets, causing massive destruction and casualties. The incident proved conclusively that threats beyond conventional military response were emerging, requiring extraordinary countermeasures. The argument intensifies rapidly, voices rising as fundamental disagreements surface. Thor points out the bitter irony that it was precisely this weapons research with the Tesseract that attracted Loki and his mysterious allies to Earth in the first place. S.H.I.E.L.D's attempt to defend against cosmic threats instead painted a target on the entire planet. Tony Stark compares Phase 2 to nuclear deterrence during the Cold War, weapons meant to prevent conflict through the threat of mutual destruction rather than for actual deployment. The logic sounds hollow even as he voices it. Steve Rogers and Fury clash over the ethics of secret weapons programs and preemptive militarization. The debate grows personal when Fury notes that Stark Industries previously made billions of dollars building weapons for the United States Armed Forces, selling instruments of death to the highest bidder. The hypocrisy accusation stings because it carries undeniable truth. Tony shifts uncomfortably. His past as a weapons manufacturer a source of ongoing guilt and attempted redemption. Steve and Tony then argue directly about the nature of heroism and sacrifice, the conflict between them erupting fully. Steve challenges Tony's true commitment to the cause, suggesting he lacks the character to make real sacrifices when circumstances demand it. Tony fires back that Steve himself is only special because of Howard Stark's work with the super soldier serum, reducing Captain America to nothing more than a successful science experiment rather than a genuine hero. The personal attacks escalate beyond professional disagreement into genuine animosity. Bruce Banner, watching the argument spiral out of control, claims that Fury has deliberately manipulated them all from the beginning. The team represents nothing but a time bomb waiting to explode, Volatile personalities forced together without any foundation of trust or shared purpose. As Tony makes inappropriate jokes to deflect the mounting tension, Steve loses his temper completely, stepping forward and threatening to fight Stark directly. Thor laughs at their posturing, finding their mortal concerns absurd from his divine perspective. Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne add their own opinions and grievances, the argument expanding until everyone participates in the chaos, voices overlapping in accusation and counteraccusation. Bruce Banner suddenly confronts everyone with raw honesty that silences the room, his voice rising as he confesses a secret he has carried in shame. He once attempted suicide, seeking escape from the curse of the Hulk through the ultimate solution. He put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, choosing death over continued existence as a monster. But the gamma radiation that created the Hulk wouldn't permit his death, wouldn't allow him that final escape. The other guy spit out the bullet, denying him even the mercy of oblivion. As Bruce speaks, his hand reaches unconsciously for Loki's scepter lying on the conference table where it was placed for study. His breathing quickens, his pulse accelerates, and everyone in the room tenses, recognizing the warning signs. Steve Rogers manages to break through Bruce's mounting fury, helping him realize what's happening before transformation becomes inevitable. The scepter has been manipulating all of them, amplifying their worst impulses and turning potential allies into enemies. Loki has orchestrated their conflict from his cell, using the Mind Stone's power to ensure they tear themselves apart before facing the real threat. The realization comes just as alarms begin blaring throughout the helicarrier, announcing an attack in progress. The brainwashed S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have begun their assault, Loki's plan proceeding to its next phase with perfect timing. Quartermain leads a strike team of corrupted S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and Loki's infiltrated soldiers in a coordinated assault on the helicarrier's critical infrastructure. Explosions rock the massive flying fortress as they systematically target life support, navigation, and propulsion systems. One of the main engines takes catastrophic damage from a precisely placed explosive charge, the blast tearing through reinforced plating and severing fuel lines. Fire erupts within the engine housing as the turbine begins to fail, and the helicarrier lists dangerously as it loses lift capacity. The explosions shockwave tears through the laboratory where the team has been arguing, the floor buckling and collapsing beneath their feet. Janet Van Dyne and Bruce Banner fall through the disintegrating structure into the boiler area far below, landing hard on metal grating. Despite Janet's desperate attempts to calm him, to help him maintain control, Bruce's injuries from the fall trigger the transformation he has fought so hard to prevent. The Hulk emerges with a roar that shakes the vessel's superstructure, all rage and no reason, immediately targeting Janet as the nearest living thing. The Green Giant chases her through the helicarrier's narrow corridors, destroying everything in his path with casual swipes of massive fists. Captain America and Thor intercede, engaging the Hulk in brutal combat while simultaneously trying to protect Janet and minimize the catastrophic collateral damage. Their battle rages through multiple decks, each impact threatening the vessel's structural integrity further. As the battle intensified and the damage to the helicarrier mounted, Nick Fury and Maria Hill found themselves faced with an impossible choice. The Hulk's rampage threatened to tear the vessel apart from within, potentially killing everyone aboard. With deep reluctance, understanding the terrible necessity of the moment, Fury authorized the deployment of a VTOL fighter jet with orders to engage the Hulk directly. The jet launched from the helicarrier's hangar, its pilot understanding the desperate nature of the mission. The aircraft opened fire, heavy caliber rounds hammering into the Hulk's massive form. The bullets deflected harmlessly off his gamma-reinforced skin, leaving him completely unharmed, but achieving something far more dangerous, capturing his full attention and redirecting his rage. Outraged by the attack, the Hulk released a roar that shook the entire vessel, the sound carrying primal fury that made even the bravest agents freeze in terror. He abandoned his pursuit of Thor and Captain America, launching himself at the attacking jet with devastating purpose. His massive leap carried him through the air with impossible speed, closing the distance before the pilot could react. The Hulk's hands closed on the fighter's fuselage, his strength tearing through reinforced titanium alloys like tissue paper. The green giant caught the pilot midair, his massive hand closing around the small figure with terrifying ease. The Hulk hurled the pilot across the skyline like a ragdoll. Against all odds and expectations, the pilot survived the impact, his training and equipment preventing what should have been certain death. As the destroyed jet exploded in a brilliant fireball that briefly illuminated the sky, the Hulk himself fell from the heavens, plummeting toward the ground far below. Fury, Kate, and Maria fight against the brainwashed agents throughout the ship's corridors and control rooms. The corrupted S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives attack with suicidal determination, caring nothing for their own survival and service to Loki's will. Maria and Kate manage to corner and incapacitate Quartermain, the blow to his head breaking Loki's mental hold. He returns to himself confused and horrified by his actions, struggling to reconcile his memories of serving Loki with his genuine loyalty to S.H.I.E.L.D. Hank Pym and Tony Stark race toward the damaged engine, knowing that without immediate repairs the helicarrier will plummet from the sky. They work with desperate speed. Hank accesses damaged components while Tony uses his armor systems to reroute power and bypass destroyed circuits. The heat from the burning engine threatens to overwhelm them both, but they persist, driven by the knowledge that everyone aboard will die if they fail. Thor attempts to prevent Loki's escape from his cell, reaching the detention area just as his brother activates his contingency plan. They engage in a brief but vicious fight, Loki's illusions and the confined space giving him advantages Thor cannot easily counter. Vernon Van Dyne, witnessing the battle, tries to help Thor by distracting Loki or releasing the cell's controls. The god of mischief responds by stabbing Vernon through the chest with his scepter, the energy blade piercing flesh and bone with terrible efficiency. The scientist falls, blood spreading across the floor as his life drains away. Loki escapes in the chaos, using his brother's grief and rage as cover for his departure. Vernon Van Dyne dies from his wound despite all efforts to save him, medical teams arriving too late to reverse the damage. Hank and Tony eventually restore power to the damaged engine through heroic effort and brilliant improvisation, managing to get the helicarrier airborne again. But their success tastes of ashes and defeat. The team gathers in stunned silence, processing their losses and failures. They were supposed to be Earth's greatest defenders, yet Loki played them perfectly, turning their strengths against themselves. Director Fury informs Janet Van Dyne of her father's death, delivering the news with as much compassion as his gruff exterior allows. She collapses under the weight of grief, the loss hitting her like a physical blow. Vernon was not just her father, but her mentor, her inspiration for entering science, the foundation of her world. The team gathers around her in shared mourning, each processing their own failures and losses. The attack succeeded beyond Loki's apparent goals. He shattered their confidence and exposed their fundamental weaknesses. Fury attempts to use Vernon's death as motivation, urging the assembled heroes to cooperate as a genuine team rather than a collection of conflicting egos. His words meet resistance from Hank Pym, whose response drips with bitter grief. He identifies himself as a scientist, not a superhero, someone who works in laboratories rather than battlefields. Fury reminds him of the technology he and Vernon developed together, Pym particles and the two specialized suits capable of changing the wearer's size at will. The revolutionary technology represents Vernon's final gift and unfulfilled legacy. Hank sighs deeply, understanding the implied responsibility and the weight of continuing his colleague's work. He agrees reluctantly to suit up to become Ant-Man and use Vernon's technology to recover the Tesseract and stop Loki's invasion. The decision transforms him from observer to participant, from scientist to soldier. Janet, her grief transforming into cold fury and determination, suits up as the Wasp with singular purpose. She will avenge her father's murder personally. Lost Earth's purpose tragedy forges resolve. The team analyzes Loki's plans through the intelligence they've gathered, piecing together his strategy from available evidence and tactical patterns. They realize his ultimate target with sudden clarity: Stark Tower in Manhattan. The building's arc reactor can provide the massive, sustained power needed to keep a dimensional portal stable once opened. Tony's greatest achievement, the clean energy source he built to power his tower and eventually the world, will instead serve as the key to Earth's invasion. Everything points to New York as ground zero for the coming apocalypse. Donald Blake, still enslaved by the Scepter's power and stripped of free will, sets up the upgraded Tesseract accelerator on Stark Tower's rooftop landing pad. The device stands complete and ready, humming with barely contained energy as it prepares to tear a hole between dimensions. Loki watches his preparations with satisfaction and anticipation, ready to welcome his Chitauri army and begin his glorious conquest of Earth. His confidence radiates like a physical force, the certainty of imminent victory making him almost giddy. Tony Stark arrives first, his armor damaged from the helicarrier battle and barely maintaining flight capability. He makes a rough landing on his own tower's pad, the suit's systems failing as he touches down. Abandoning the wrecked armor, he steps inside to confront Loki directly, maintaining his characteristic nonchalance even when facing a cosmic threat backed by an alien army. Tony offers Loki a drink from his private bar with studied casualness, the gesture both hospitable and mocking. Loki claims with absolute certainty that once the Chitauri arrive through his portal, nothing can stop his conquest. The Earth will kneel before him within days. Tony corrects this assessment calmly, pointing out that Loki should fear the assembled heroes rather than dismiss them. Together, the team represents a force far stronger than the sum of individual powers. Loki mocks this claim, noting that in their first battle aboard the helicarrier, he drove them apart with embarrassing ease, turning allies into enemies through simple manipulation. Tony insists that Loki's attack just made them angry, crystallizing their purpose through shared loss and awakening their determination. He delivers a promise with absolute sincerity. If they cannot protect Earth from Loki's invasion, they will avenge its destruction. The heroes will hunt Loki across the cosmos if necessary. Tony adds that the Hulk alone is stronger than Loki and his entire Chitauri army combined, the statement designed to wound the Asgardians' pride. The boast succeeds. Loki's expression darkens with genuine annoyance. When Loki grows weary of threats and posturing, he attempts to subjugate Tony Stark with his scepter, placing its tip against Tony's chest directly over his heart. Tony mocks the awkward failure mercilessly, his grin insufferable as he twists the psychological knife. Annoyed beyond measure by the humiliation, Loki grabs Tony by the throat and throws him bodily out of the tower's massive window. Then a freshly built Iron Man armor rockets after him from its storage bay, assembling around his body in mid-fall with perfect precision. The fully suited Iron Man shoots back up toward the tower, repulsors flaring with furious intensity. He blasts Loki backward in retaliation, the attack both tactical and personal vengeance for Vernon Van Dyne's murder. Donald Blake's device activates with a sound like reality tearing. The Tesseract accelerator achieves full power, channeling the artifact's cosmic energy into a coherent beam that stabs upward into the sky. The portal manifests above New York, a wound in space itself that opens onto an alien dimension. Through this dimensional tear pours the Chitauri fleet, an army of alien warriors mounted on anti-gravity craft and accompanied by massive serpentine leviathans. The invasion of Earth begins in earnest, thousands of hostile forces streaming into Manhattan's airspace. The heroes arrive aboard a commandeered Quinjet, launching themselves into battle against impossible odds without hesitation. Chitauri warriors pour from the portal in seemingly endless waves, their energy weapons tearing into buildings and streets with indiscriminate destruction. Civilians scatter in blind panic as their city transforms into an active war zone, their screams mixing with explosions and the alien weapons' distinctive discharge sounds. The heroes fight with everything they possess, each bringing unique abilities to bear against the overwhelming invasion force. In the midst of the chaotic battle, Bruce Banner arrived on a beaten motorcycle, weaving through abandoned vehicles and debris-strewn streets. He pulled to a stop near where Janet Van Dyne hovered in her Wasp form, coordinating defensive positions with the other heroes. Bruce dismounted, his expression carrying the weight of genuine remorse. He apologized to Janet for attacking her earlier on the helicarrier, his voice quiet but sincere, explaining that he had no control when the transformation took him. Janet accepted his apology with grace, understanding the burden he carried. Captain America, observing Bruce's arrival, contacted Tony Stark through their communication system, informing him that his prediction about Bruce returning had proven accurate. Tony's response crackled through their earpieces with characteristic urgency and a hint of dark humor. That was excellent news, he declared, because he was currently leading a massive Leviathan directly toward their position and could use all the help he could get. The Leviathan approaches through the portal, its armored body large enough to level entire city blocks with its passage alone. The creature's roar shakes windows and sets off car alarms for miles. Bruce Banner walks calmly toward the approaching monstrosity as the team watches with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Steve Rogers suggests this would be an excellent time for Bruce to get angry, to unleash the monster they desperately need. Bruce responds with a simple truth that redefines their understanding of his condition. His secret is that he's always angry, always maintaining iron control over perpetual rage. He transforms instantly and with complete control, the Hulk emerging not from loss of rational thought, but from deliberate choice. The Green Giant stops the Leviathan's charge with a single devastating punch. The impact so powerful, it causes the creature's organic armor plates to shatter and fall away like broken scales. The beast staggers, stunned by the force it encountered. Iron Man finishes the wounded Leviathan with precisely targeted weapons fire, his repulsors and micro-missiles exploiting the weak points Hulk's attack exposed. The creature crashes into abandoned streets. Its death throws crushing several parked vehicles. Hulk roars triumphantly, the sound echoing between skyscrapers as the heroes assemble together for the first time as a unified force. The camera captures them standing side by side, a tableau of determination against impossible odds. The battle expands across Manhattan as more heroes join the desperate defense of their city. Spider-Man swings between collapsing buildings on organic webbing. He uses his enhanced strength and agility to save civilians from falling debris, catching people in web nets and pulling them to safety even as Chitauri weapons fire tears through the air around him. His youth makes his courage all more remarkable. The Fantastic Four engage Chitauri forces near the Baxter Building, protecting their headquarters and the surrounding blocks with scientific precision and teamwork honed through countless adventures. Mr. Fantastic's elasticity allows him to rescue multiple civilians simultaneously, while the Invisible Woman creates force fields to deflect alien energy weapons. The Human Torch streaks through the sky like a missile, his flames destroying Chitauri flyers, while the Thing wades into ground forces with unstoppable momentum. In Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil engages alien warriors in the streets and rooftops he knows better than anyone alive. His enhanced senses allow him to anticipate their movements and counter their attacks with precision, his billy clubs finding weak points in their armor. Though blind, he fights with absolute confidence in his abilities and intimate knowledge of his territory. Hank Pym employs specialized techniques developed over years of research, channeling Pym particles to transform into Giant Man. He grows to massive size, becoming a colossus who can battle the Chitauri Leviathans on equal terms. His enlarged fist smashes through one creature's armor, the impact driven by tons of mass and scientific fury. Each blow strikes for Vernon Van Dyne, for the friend and colleague murdered by Loki's ambition. Meanwhile, the Wasp pursues Loki throughout Manhattan's concrete canyons, chasing him as he rides a Chitauri hovering craft through the chaos. She catches him in an abandoned plaza, her miniaturized form allowing her to evade his defenses and strike from unexpected angles. The beating she delivers channels all her grief and fury into devastating precision strikes. Every blow lands for her father. Every strike seeks vengeance for the man who raised her and inspired her love of science. Loki finds himself overwhelmed by her tactical superiority and emotional intensity. She leaves him battered and defeated, his arrogance finally meeting its match. Ant-Man fights his way through waves of Chitauri warriors to reach the Tesseract accelerator atop Stark Tower. He finds Donald Blake standing guard over the device, but the corruption has begun to break down under the strain of maintaining the portal. Donald's eyes show flickers of awareness, his true self fighting against the Mind Stone's control. He reveals crucial information with tremendous effort. The scepter can close the portal, its power the key to ending the invasion. The World Security Council, watching the battle unfold from their safe bunker through satellite feeds, decides the situation requires the ultimate solution. They authorize a nuclear strike on Manhattan, reasoning that sacrificing millions now will prevent billions of deaths when the Chitauri conquest spreads globally. The cold calculus of their decision horrifies everyone who learns of it. Director Fury protests vehemently, his arguments passionate and desperate, but he lacks the authority to countermand their orders. The missile launches from a distant military base, arcing toward New York with its payload of annihilation. Tony Stark detects the incoming missile through his armor's sensors and makes an instantaneous decision that defines heroism. He carries the nuclear weapon toward the portal, flying faster than he's ever flown before. His armor's power begins failing in the hostile environment, life support systems struggling against the vacuum and radiation. He releases the missile, watching it streak toward the Chitauri command center with grim satisfaction. The nuclear explosion that follows decimates their fleet, the blast wave destroying infrastructure and ships across cubic miles of space. Every Chitauri warrior on Earth simultaneously collapses as their controlling connection severs, their invasion force rendered inert in an instant. Tony falls back toward the portal, his armor completely dead, no power for flight or life support. He plummets unconscious through the dimensional gateway just before Ant-Man, following Donald Blake's instructions, uses Loki's scepter to collapse the portal and end the threat permanently. The rift in space seals itself, cutting off any possibility of reinforcements or renewed invasion. Tony's unconscious body falls toward Manhattan streets far below, certain death awaiting his impact. The Hulk catches him with surprising gentleness, cradling the armored form as he lands on a relatively intact section of street. The battle is won, though the cost and destruction and lives lost remains to be tallied. New York lies in ruins, but Earth survives. The heroes gather amid the wreckage of their victory, exhausted and battered but alive. Smoke rises from 1,000 fires across Manhattan, and the sounds of emergency sirens fill the air as first responders begin the overwhelming task of search and rescue. Ant-Man and the Wasp, standing together among the ruins, point out how effectively they functioned as a team once they stopped fighting each other. Their coordination during the battle proved that their individual strengths, when properly combined, created something greater than any of them could achieve alone. Janet proposes calling themselves the Avengers, the name carrying weight and meaning earned through shared sacrifice and victory against impossible odds. The others agree immediately, recognizing that what they've built transcends their individual identities and conflicts. Though they will separate and return to their separate lives and responsibilities, they all commit to reuniting if a new threat arises that requires their combined strength. They have proven beyond doubt that together, they are stronger than the sum of their parts, capable of facing challenges that would destroy them individually. The Avengers become the center of intense media attention in the days following the battle. News coverage shows them from every angle, their actions during the invasion replayed endlessly. The public largely admires them as heroes who save the world, though some voices express concern and fear at such powerful beings operating without governmental oversight or democratic accountability. The debate over superhuman registration and regulation begins in earnest, with politicians and pundits offering contradictory opinions about the Avengers' role in society. J. Jonah Jameson, hosting the Daily Bugle's news broadcast from his studio, criticizes the Avengers with characteristic vehemence. He argues loudly that they are not real heroes like firefighters or police officers, ordinary people who risk their lives daily without the advantage of superpowers or advanced technology. He praises the Fantastic Four specifically because they were trained astronauts and scientists before gaining their abilities, professional and accountable. With evident pride, he mentions that his son will become an astronaut one day, implicitly comparing the structured, regulated path of traditional heroism favorably to these mysterious Avengers who appeared from nowhere. Thor takes custody of his brother Loki, preparing to return him to Asgard for judgment before their father and the assembled court. He carries the Tesseract with him as well, intending to secure the artifact in Odin's vault where it cannot be stolen or misused again. The farewell between Thor and his new allies carries weight, the god of thunder having found friendship and purpose among mortals. S.H.I.E.L.D. takes possession of Loki's scepter, adding it to their growing collection of dangerous artifacts and unexplained phenomena. The weapon disappears into a secure vault, its location known only to the highest clearance personnel. Nick Fury approaches Steve Rogers in a quiet moment after the chaos subsides. He removes the tarp to reveal a vintage motorcycle, its chrome gleaming despite obvious age. Fury explains its history with uncharacteristic emotion. Steve Rogers saved Jack Fury's life during that war, an act of heroism that Jack never forgot. He passed the motorcycle to his son, Nick, along with countless stories of Captain America's courage and sacrifice, instilling in the young Fury a deep admiration for the super soldier. Now, the motorcycle belongs to Steve, Fury explains, a tangible connection to the past. Steve accepts with visible emotion. Tony Stark commits substantial financial resources to renovating Avengers Mansion, transforming the historic building into a proper headquarters for the team. The mansion will serve as their base of operations, equipped with training facilities, laboratories, living quarters, and secure storage for equipment and artifacts. If they intend to work together again, and they surely will, they need a place to gather, train, and plan operations. The mansion represents Tony's commitment to their future as Earth's defenders, a physical manifestation of their bond and shared purpose. Construction begins within weeks, the building rising from its neglected state into something worthy of Earth's mightiest heroes. Ebony Maw meets with his true master in the throne room of the sanctuary. He delivers his report on Loki's failure with appropriate deference, outlining how the Asgardian was defeated and the Tesseract lost. Maw shares his concerns regarding the unexpected strength of Earth's defenders, warning that attempting to challenge them again through conventional invasion would prove deadly and costly. The heroes demonstrated capabilities far exceeding initial assessments. The warlord Thanos considers this information in silence, his massive form barely visible in the shadows of his throne. Then he smiles, the expression containing no humor or warmth, only sadistic anticipation and the absolute certainty of inevitable victory.